All right, so we have our first guest, and we're going to bring you on, Nathaniel. Good to see you.
Hello.
And you, yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself, what you want to talk about, and then after that brief intro, then we'll start your timer. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. Um, I'm a fellow Catholic. That's probably the main reason. Um, I had a YouTube channel, and Mr. Objective Ethics came on and said he wanted to talk to me about things, and so we did talk about. And then he told me about you, and so I went and watched your thing, and I've kind of been drawn into debating with people and whatnot, and it's been interesting learning principles of logic and things like that from you. So,
Good. Yeah.
in a very
Very.
brief period of time, I mean, I woke up at 6
There
a.m.,
you
all my children were awake, and
go.
I had you, I was kind of listening to you because it was on my list of things to do. And
Yeah.
that was just for 6 hours, just start, stop, start, stop. So,
Gotcha.
that's how my day's been so far.
Yeah. So I
How's
have
your
seen
going?
you. Yeah, pretty good. Thanks. It's great to meet you, first of all, because I remember seeing your comments earlier today. I was responding to them. So yeah, great so far. Video work. These are my days off on Wednesdays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, really. Tuesday, Thursdays when I teach. So let's try to
Nice.
do video work. Yeah, it's nice that you have a channel. And what is the channel if you want to plug it here?
It's Taurus Necrus Productions. And then probably the best thing for people is Village Economy on Substack. That's kind of I had a
Okay,
YouTube
cool.
channel. I had a YouTube channel 6 years ago where I was doing a Bible study before I converted to
Yeah,
Catholicism,
nice.
and yeah, I'm excited about it.
So
Um,
okay, so you're recent convert then. You say 6 years. I converted in 2019.
oh, me too. Well, no, I got
Okay,
married.
awesome.
Sorry,
Okay,
pardon me. I got married. So I got married in 2019, and then
awesome.
on Epiphany is when I kind of had my internal conversion. And
Interesting. And then you
actually,
had to go through RCIA and all that.
no,
No. Okay.
no, I didn't go that.
You didn't do that.
It's a heck of a story. So I was okay. I'll tell you the story. This will be worthwhile, actually.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
so at 2019 in 2019, I had moved to the country. I had kind of from Seattle, Washington, which is where I was living. Um, and in Seattle, I had read the Bible and I had become very firm about some beliefs, and I was kind of like
Hmm.
non-denominational, leaning more like Calvinist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really wanted to have a wife and children, and I kind of had reached the conclusion that in order to, because I didn't want to get divorced like my parents got divorced,
Yeah.
so in order to successfully have a family, I needed to have a law and I needed to have a ritual, and I
Hmm.
just figured that out from reading the Bible, basically. Um, and so, the year 2019, I had Catholics, I had Eastern Orthodox, and I had people that follow the Old Testament. Um,
Hmm.
I call them Judaizers. It's kind of an offensive term, though, so I want a better term than that. But the Catholics won, and I prayed a lot, and God intervened, and it was 30. It was on Saint Nicholas's Day that
Nice.
I felt like God told me to be Catholic, and then I said, "Well, give me a month because I got a lot going on right now," and so He
Yeah.
did. And then Epiphany was when I saw, okay, I'm Catholic, and then 9 months later, when we were um, getting ready to have our first child, uh, that was when the church let me in, sometime in September. So
Nice. Yeah. So this has all happened really
yeah,
recently. That's great. Yeah, I have a very
well,
similar story, of course, and
good.
I've shared some of it here and there. Yeah. So, did you come to the church through like an intellectual route? Would you say, or just like it sounds like you were like, okay, I know that I need this, this, and this. Was it structure you were looking for because of the marriage? Excuse me.
I mean, that opened my heart and whatnot.
Yeah.
But No, I mean, it was definitely like the direct intervention of like God and the Blessed Virgin. The so the
Nice.
intel the intellectual route was there. I was kind of
Yeah.
like I knew I needed to resolve this, but I
Yeah.
remember praying to God and saying, I was very scared because I said, on this side I have schism, on that side I have idolatry,
Yep.
and so I didn't want to go to hell. So I prayed to God and I said, it's going to take 1,000 years for me to figure out what's going on here. So you're just going to have to give me the answer.
That's
And
awesome.
then he did, and yeah. And then I think the virtue of faith kind of was perfected in me after that, because
That's it. Yeah.
after coming to the church, now I can answer all the questions and I
Oh,
understand
nice.
everything that I was struggling with back then.
Nice.
I kind of left public life. I got married. We were having children, and so it worked out. But
Yeah.
that's actually where this YouTube channel comes from.
Your
That's
YouTube
all
channel. Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes
Nice.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We may need to restart that or need a 20-minute timer. So just disregard that. But
Okay.
yeah, so I find that to be a similar experience. Like I may not know, especially becoming Catholic, I may not know it all. But just enough. There's like a critical mass of like, okay, I have enough here that I got to do something with it. And
Right. You got to
so
make a
you take
decision.
that step, and then the understanding can come later. But if you were to just like stay frozen and say, I got to understand it all, I mean, no human choice is made on that basis that you understand everything 100%. So when it comes to matters of faith, of course, and religious beliefs, the stakes are much higher, of course. So I can understand and appreciate the
Yeah.
greater caution, but it does err on the side. It tends to be people not taking, the next step. Yeah, that
Yeah.
understanding can come a lot later. Yeah.
I'm a little bit more dynamic of a personality, probably, but a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
have followed me into the church,
Hmm.
different men and women, and I kind of watched them. Some people came to the church and prayed for me and that kind of thing, but I've always been a pretty dynamic person involved in a lot of different projects, and so, like, one of my best friends, I'm the godparent of his children now, godfather, and he just came into the church, and he had some major intellectual things that he said eventually. Finally, we were talking for years about this. So you better make your decision, because I don't know, this country might collapse
Yeah,
tomorrow, and violence and that kind of thing. So you better be ready.
especially up there in Seattle, right?
Well, he's near D.C.,
Oh
so it's
yeah,
worse,
yeah. I'm in
much
Baltimore,
worse.
so yeah, I know where. Yeah,
Oh, there. Oh,
yeah.
okay. They all might be friends. Yeah. So anyway, but his was the perpetual virginity of Mary, and
Oh, okay.
I actually published his book, and I had to unpublish it because but it was a good book all about how Protestant pastors should pay more attention to blue collar workers, and of course he
Mm.
spent a lot of time talking in there about Saint Joseph. He loved Saint Joseph before he's
Yeah.
Catholic. He was talking about Jesus our Lord in the house of Saint Joseph, but he was also talking about Jesus teaching his brothers carpentry and that kind of thing. So that's why.
Yeah, that
Hopefully he
reminds me.
rewrites it.
I'll put it in the chat. There's a college of St. Joseph that they just opened up in Steubenville, uh, Ohio. And it's St. Joseph the Worker, right? So carpentry and stuff. So this is a college. It is university accredited. They partner with Franciscan University of Steubenville. But they teach you the trades, so you're kind of getting both. You're not just getting trade school; you're getting university education when you go there as a
Nice.
student. So the hardest thing is to get the certification if you're not in that state. So yeah, yeah, there's a lack of that sort of trades and stuff, and especially as you're starting to see that more, that's something we can start to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been interesting. I'd say the worst thing about being Catholic is other Catholics. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
what
I
do you mean
mean,
by that? Because it's like it's sort of because I can take that in a couple of ways, like hypocritical stuff, or I can take it in terms of like, oh well, it seems like a comparison issue, and they're better or worse than me. So what way do you mean it?
oh, um, I mean, I love people in general. I mean, I'd been to a lot of different um, denominations and things before I became Catholic. So,
Yeah.
and I grew up like in a pretty chaotic way. I moved 14 times before I graduated high school. I spent some of my childhood in like an all black, very like crime ridden town.
Yeah.
And I owned my own business at 10 years old. My stepfather taught me how to do that. So I kind of just have this background. I probably get along better with like black Catholics in Louisiana or something like that. But and I'm in Texas now, and I get along best with the Mexicans down here.
Nice,
I think it's more the culture of America in the church, where there's kind of, and this has been the problem in the church for like 200 years, right? Americanism and modernism, that kind of thing. And people get hung up on the liturgy, but I'm always and I'm always saying, well, we're lay people. The liturgy isn't really our responsibility. I mean, we should
exactly
love it, but you know.
Yeah, that that tends to happen when you have cradle Catholics or Catholics who've been Catholics for a very long time. They kind of get into their ruts, or they have their favorites of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's reset this timer. I'm going to reset it to start back over. There we go.
Well, it was good to have the excuse in case you had like if I was just coming on crazy and you didn't know and you kind of had a way out.
No, that's why I asked. Yeah, because that makes a lot of sense to me, because people have their own kind of pet projects when it comes to. Hold on, let me restart that. There we go. Yeah, this is my first time to use the timer, so you're my guinea pig, unfortunately. Sorry. Yeah. So I am not one for inter-Catholic or intra-Catholic squabbles, especially liturgical debates. I just I don't care. I mean, but then again, like, I can understand, like, especially if you're a theologian or a priest or somebody like that who's in charge of that stuff. Sure. I mean, but then also each priest is, they take an oath of obedience. So even if they didn't like something, they would still. I mean, this is the case in our parish. We have people wanting to. They took the altar rail out. When you have an altar rail right there in the front, it forces you to kneel on the altar rail so that you take communion on the tongue instead of in the hand. And so, like, this is a real serious issue to people. Yeah. And so our bishop, either in the Archdiocese of Baltimore or the U.S. Conference of Bishops, has said that, I think it's the U.S. Conference Bishop, says that it's permissible to take either way, standing or kneeling, doesn't matter, on the hand or on the tongue, doesn't matter. It's just open, like the wide ticket stance on that. It's not like one's wrong, whatever. So that's the position. And so our priest, because he took that vow of obedience, he's like, look, I don't want to, it's a small decision, but it doesn't seem all that controversial. But I don't want to put the altar rail back in there, because even though my parish members want it, because it might encourage one way or the other, and we don't want to just have that. So that's just one example. Priests have to think about that, but they also are beholden to that obedience to their prior. But as far as your everyday person, like I'm in theological circles, academic circles with respect to theology and philosophy, and so I see a lot more of that discussion probably that's more justifiable, but like your everyday layman should probably stop talking about it. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, like, I don't talk about it, so.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I mean, people just need to have a lot more like charity and understanding towards everybody. I mean, priests especially, I love the Latin Mass. I'd rather go to the Latin Mass. I always kneel. I always receive on the tongue. But the thing is that there was a lot going wrong. God kind of punishes people, and there was a lot going wrong before 1970 Vatican II. And honestly, those things are still around today, and it seems like the liturgy, the fighting over the liturgy is just kind of a distraction. And I think it's not. And the liturgy is the most important thing, but we don't have any influence over it. It's because we're Americans. We think, we just control
exactly.
Everything.
It is very much, it is very much, it is very much a cultural thing with Americans. Like, you won't see this in other other countries, other cultures who are more communal, but we're very individualistic, and we
Yeah.
fall into this trap of like, I just want to pick everything and have it my way, and it's just not how things go. Yeah.
Well, and let me tell you something that every Catholic has total control over, and this individualistic attitude totally affects everything, and it's American philosophy, um, and it's like I I I went to a Latin Mass church, and I'm the youngest of five. My parents were divorced. Okay, I came to the church. I was Christian before that, and my parents, I'm on good terms with them and everything like that. But they just lived in parts of the country. They live in parts of the country that I don't want to take my children, and
Yeah.
I don't really have any family. And the reason why I don't really have any family is because I am Catholic. Like when I read
Yeah.
Jesus Christ's promise that you left lands, fathers, mothers,
Yep.
riches for me, I take that 100% like he is talking to me directly because I gave up a lot to be Christian.
Yeah.
And then to be
Really.
Catholic, I gave up even more. I lost my friends.
So your family's not even Christian.
I mean, they're
Kind of
all over.
nominal.
They're
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. A lot of my family's like that as well. There are no Catholics in my family for generations. I come from Arkansas. There's not, I mean, it's all Southern Baptist there, evangelical, non-denominational. So, I mean, I imagine it's similar in Texas, except for the Hispanic Catholics. There's not really a lot of Catholic presence. You do have some like German immigrants, depending on the towns and stuff, and
Right.
some Polish and Slovak and stuff and Czech, but
Right.
that might be Catholic. But yeah, my family, you have to go back like 4 generations, and I've done it. Like I've looked at genealogy just to find like where are the Catholics in my family, and so I totally get it, man. Having to
Well,
tell my family that I'm converting, and they're like, "What?"
right. Well, it's not just that. It's like it's it's the whole mechanism of, and I don't know, my microphone, everything broke before I got on here, so I had to change everything up.
Hmm.
But it's the whole mechanism of how a community and how a society works. It's like, this is why I say it has a lot to do with American philosophy. It's like every man's house is his castle, the nuclear family, these things that were invented basically by Americans. It's like
Yeah.
we have 3 children now. Our oldest is 4. The last 2 years has been total hell for us.
Hmm.
And when it started, and my wife's the oldest of 2, we don't really know how to raise children, and so everything
Yeah.
we're just figuring it out, and nobody does. But what I've noticed is people get to be my age, or they start to have children, and they go live by their parents, and that's not an
Yeah.
option for us.
Yeah.
And so when this started, I talked to my priest about it. I said, man, we're just having trouble. Like, I'd love to pray for 5 minutes and that kind of thing. And he said, well, talk to the older ladies at the church. That's what he told me to do.
Nice. Yeah.
I talked to them, and I said we could use some help. And they gave me money, and they gave me advice. I could not get one of them to hold my child at Mass to save their lives.
Really?
I couldn't get somebody to just visit my house and kind of help us out, guide my wife. She wasn't taught how to be a housewife, and she's trying to do it right. And
Yeah.
and then now we got 3 children. I still got all the same problems. I moved to try to have better prospects, and things are a little bit better here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, because out there it was kind of a retirement community, but it's like I talk to people about the struggles we have just trying to raise children and be married, which is like something anybody should be able to do. St. Ambrose said that it's the easy option.
Yeah.
As far
Yeah.
as it's
Yeah.
easy to find a wife and have children, but it's really hard for men now to find wives,
Yep.
and it's really hard to raise children. And now Catholics are telling me, well, just practice. I say, well, we're struggling with money because everything's so expensive.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't have any time to work because my children are getting sick or my wife's getting sick.
Right. Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So I always missing work. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, just. So they tell me, this is what they tell me. They say, stop having children. You're too poor. That's what they tell me.
Who tells you that?
I've heard that from several people.
From Catholics?
Catholics. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Let's say try to
I
practice
mean,
natural family planning. And that kind of thing.
maybe. I mean, look, you can't change the number of kids you have now, of course, but
Right.
what? How old's your youngest? You said under 3. They're all under 3
Well, she just turned 4 this
or
year,
under
so now
4.
she's
Okay,
4.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get it. Yeah, I think they're just, in other words, trying to say strive for prudence, and planning and stuff like that. Your family, which, okay, that's kind of taken for granted. Everybody wants to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, but interesting. You said there's no one in the church you can get to like hold your baby or kid or something. It's like I've seen, not personally, because I have, I have limited social skills, being a philosopher and all that, really heady and intellectual type. My wife is much better at that socializing stuff, but like I won't hold a baby unless it's like related to me, and even then I'm like maybe.
Well, you're a
my
man.
own my
Yeah.
own kid for sure, yeah, for sure, yeah. But I've seen like on Instagram, TikToks and stuff, religious sisters, or not cloistered nuns, but sisters, who live
Yeah.
in community, and they're always happy. Man, there's a whole order of religious sisters who, or it might even be cloistered nuns, who their only job really is to pray for mothers, like overnight, because mothers have to stay up overnight to take care of the kids. So like,
Oh, nice.
there's some sisters out in the world somewhere praying for you as a mother, being up with kids, and I've seen a lot of videos of, I don't know where these are. You have to look them up, but you might ask your priest, like, are there any people in the congregation or even sisters local to you that would be interested? Like, these are my needs, and I'm not getting them met here on my own power and effort. So maybe you can point me to somebody who has an opposite need, and we can match up or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for it to be too focused on me. I mean, I am kind of
No, that's fine. No.
pursuing those. I've been doing it for a long time. I mean, basically, what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to. I'm a small business owner, and I realize that a lot of Catholics kind of have more of like a employment mindset. I think it comes from
Mm-hmm. Oh,
from the
right.
night.
Yeah.
I think it comes from the 1970s, from basically like when the morals started to get real bad in America and everyone started getting divorced and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I think Catholics held the line, and so I think that's why they still got that 1950s attitude of like, you just get a job and get a retirement, college education.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I've seen some stuff on lil-lathoS. This will be last thing, and then I'll let you have the last word here. But
sure.
Lila, I think I saw a recent video of lil-lathoS. I'm sure you know her. Her live action. She does like anti-abortion
Yeah.
stuff, pro-life stuff, and about how the it's a fiction of the stay-at-home mother.
Right.
That for all of history, really, women did work. It just looked different. They didn't go to a corporate office job, but they, helped around the village, or they helped go pick berries or whatever it may be. And that was sufficient for work. It's not like you're making a salary doing those things, but that was work. So it's just like this whole weird, narrow mindset of, well, if you're not doing something that pays a salary, then you're not really working. So we kind of have to rethink what it means to work, and then rethink, if we're going to stay at home, what would that entail? Is it going to be work? It certainly is going to be a lot of work, and so it's just a fiction that you have these stay-at-home mothers and now fathers and so on. But anyway, I'll give you the last word here, and then we'll let the next person join up in line.
Well, that's something. That's actually something I wrote an essay about. Or an article at least. I've got to kind of edit it, but about the nature of the third commandment. That if you understand, it's like like men. Okay, so if you look at the point of view of men left the home first, then women were pulled out of the home. So, and men were actually meant to stay in the home. A lot of people overlook that. Industrialism pulled them out in the 1900s, and that's what all the popes were concerned with. They were concerned with that kind of stuff. But if you look at the third commandment, remember the Sabbath, remember rest, the fact that you're not a beast, you should have a day to pray, a day to rest. And if you factor in all these other things, like, yes, coming home and doing the dishes is work. Even watching children is work. So that means if you're working 6 days a week for a salary, and then you come home and keep working, well, that wrecks your mind. It stops working rationally. And I think that's actually, because of the Protestant work ethic and everything, I think that's actually the state that we live in, where every man I know of, this is why I have so much sympathy for atheists and agnostics, because economics is godless. And
Yeah.
we're all just exhausted because we never get to rest, because this industrial system breaks us down into machines. And then when you look at it from God's point of view, that commandment is above murder. It's above theft. My son's going to that here. It's above theft. It's above
Mm.
adultery. And so, the sorts of people who are concerned about like God punishing us for abortion or kind of a thing, it's like, well, oppressing the poor, which is what America has done from its foundation, by working
Mm.
men this hard, is actually a worse crime in God's eyes, taking away the
Mm.
Sabbath rest. And think about your average father. How much rest do you get on the Lord's Day? You have to buckle everyone into these car seats. You got to drive down. There's no
Yeah,
rest at
yeah.
all, and that's
Especially for
after
young
6 days of
parents.
work. Yeah, and then you got
Especially
to
for
mow the
young parents.
lawn. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Well, good,
so that's
man.
what. Well,
Well,
thank
listen,
you.
I'm really appreciate you coming on. It's wonderful to meet you, and I welcome you back anytime. And we'll start with like, and this is what I'll do for every new guest, probably a 20-minute timer, so you don't get rushed or anything like that.
Well, God bless you.
So
Let me know if
anyway,
there's
yeah,
ever
come back
anything I can
anytime.
do for you. And
Awesome.
thanks
Yeah.
for
Well,
having me.
you've got enough on your plate, so I don't want to give you too much. And anyway, go enjoy your family, and God bless you, man.
That trust and integrity are important, which is why I prefer to talk to you individually, and I'm happy to do that if you have the time to do that. But nobody has time and nobody has money because of usury, which is why I'm fighting usury with all my heart, with everybody I can find. And if you want to support me with your time, if you have any extra, please contact me individually. If you have to send me money to support me, that's fine. We'll find the least usurious way as possible, and you'll see a link. There are 3 ways that we can do this, or there are 3 ways that I'm working on right now. There's one bottom-up approach. I'm talking quickly for the people who don't have time. And that involves creating insular economies, which is what you will find out when you contact me individually with your extra time. That's the most important. I'm doing that locally and I'm doing that electronically, which is where you come in. The other 2 are top-down. So that you can find a user, you can cause him to repent, you can tell him about Jesus Christ, and then he should fix everything. And so we won't suffer as much. Or you can pass Jubilee laws, which you don't need to find the usurer to do that. It makes usury illegal. It benefits everybody who is struggling, and it will punish users or anybody who commits usury. So, which is not the people you think. Nobody knows who they are. So don't worry about you being affected by that. But I'm doing the first one. I'm researching the other 2, and I'm glad to hear your thoughts.
Edited by lil-lathoS.